Hello, everybody. My name is Andy Montoya. I'm here today to introduce you to an amazing project called Boon Republic. I've been fortunate enough to participate on it since its inception about a year ago. I have with me today Carlos Hernandez, which is a founder of Boon Republic and actually the one who came up with the idea. So, Carlos, tell me, what is Boon Republic?
Well, first of all, I'd like to tell you that the full name is the Republic of Boon. Boon Republic is the website, and generally we call it Boon. Now,
Okay,
what is
thank
Boon?
you for the correction.
Well, Boon is really very simple. It's a fictional world, but we like to call it a fictional world that is real. Now, this world was constructed by a company called Nixant, and we launched January 1st, 2010, and this is accessible via the internet using any web browser.
Okay, what is the address?
The address is www.boonrepublic.com. B-O-O-N Republic.
Okay, very good. So you were saying that this is a fictional world?
Yes, it's really a fictional world. I mean,
Like are you saying this something like, I don't know, Facebook, MySpace, or
yeah. In essence, you could call Facebook a fictional world or a virtual world. In this case, we're talking about two-dimensional, not three-dimensional, where you have to walk in and you have specialized software. But as we said, it's being run right off the internet, right off your browser. Boon really is a digital world where all the social and business activities of its residents are localized to the real-world cities where they live and work.
Hold on. So the concept is similar to that of, let's say, Craigslist, where you have a local environment, but now you're saying that above that and beyond that, you're not just selling things, but you're also socializing?
That's an excellent observation, because Craigslist is an excellent website, and one of the values that it has localized all the content. In other words, if I'm looking to buy a car and somebody's looking to sell a car and we're in the same city, then it matches us up very easily. In Boon, yes, exactly the point that you brought out. Every city is localized, and so what we have in Boon is, if there is a real Miami, as an example, then there is a virtual Miami in Boon Republic.
Okay, very nice. So continuing with that line of thought, when you're saying that it's localized, it means that if, for example, if I make a friend, I'll befriend somebody in Boon Republic, and that person happens to be, I don't know, let's say in Miami, just to continue with your conversation, can I go and just visit that person? I mean, it's that local?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's no different than if you found somebody locally in as an example, in Facebook. But everything here is focused on that. It's not just like we mentioned before, Craigslist, but we can make contact with people in our local city. In other words, when you register in Boon Republic, generally we encourage individuals to use their real names, as they are real people, and what we want them to do is put in the real city where they live. And then that allows them to be able to be connected with all kinds of people, businesses, and activities that are local to their city. And that doesn't stop them from being able to connect to people everywhere in the world, but it means that everybody is now easy. You can find yourselves easily because you're all inside the virtual city, which is localized to the real city.
Okay. One of the things that we discussed before we had this recording, is that the whole point of Boon Republic was to make business or make people make money out of this entire solution. So can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Sure. I mean, first of all, when we say it's a fictional world, and that's because there's a story behind Boon. Mm-hmm. In other words, we're all in this story, and we have residents, we have citizens, we have mayors, we have other individuals inside Boon. And yes, Boon was built from the ground up, not just to be localized, but to be able to mimic the activities of a real-world city. And once you have those mimicked activities, meaning that we can socialize with each other just as friends, then certainly we can socialize with each other or interact with each other as business acquaintances, just like you would in a real city. So Boon was built from the ground up with the notion that the normal activities of a city that would also include business, not exclusively business, but it would be social things and business things that would be interacting. and that we would be able to focus them locally, but that wouldn't stop us from doing them globally. And that's the basic idea of Boon.
Carlos, another thing that got my attention when we were talking previously was the different roles that people have to play inside Boon Republic. And you mentioned that there's something called mayors, and there's something called citizens, and there's something called residents. What it's all about? Can you explain that? For example, let's go with the residents. What is a resident of Boon Republic?
Okay, well, that's very easy. A resident of Boon Republic is everyone who uses the system. They're the users. Now, why do we call them residents? Because it's a distinction based on what we're trying to do with the overall concept of Boon. So a resident comes in because they register and they're now a resident, and they get a series of products and services for free. So they join for free, and that allows them to interact with other people in Boon, locally or globally. And they can establish business contacts. They can participate in individual groups. They can create groups, and they actually get virtual properties. In other words, these virtual properties are defined by them. Let's call them their blogs or websites as defined by them. They can be personal. In other words, they want to build something about themselves, or they want to build something about their family, or they want to build something about their interest, or even they want to have their business inside in which they can then do e-commerce. All of that is possible for the resident, and it begins without any cost.
So, hold on. There's no cost associated for the resident?
No, we're not looking...
They get all this for free?
Yes. I mean, in essence, what happens is they get these 5 virtual properties, which they can define how they're going to build them. They can actually add more properties, but then, of course, at some point we have to charge them. But the idea behind it is that they're building out. Think of that.
That's a great idea. That's great. They don't have.
That's
yeah. They get all these products and services, and they don't have to pay. So it's not just a social media.
What happens is that they are able to use these virtual properties in any capacity they would like. As an example, let's say they had a shoe store, and they decided that they wanted to build their website inside the system. Well, absolutely, they can come in, they register, they're as a business owner, but in essence, the property that they have is at no cost. The next thing that happens is that they may decide to sell those shoes in Boon. So, and that's okay because they're just using the property. But let's say as an example, they want to do e-commerce now. Well, then if they're going to do e-commerce, then of course we may charge what we call micropayments, because we'll establish the ability for them to do e-commerce through a plugin. And then we charge, let's call it $4.99 for an installation.
So
and
a
small monthly fee.
They're not buying the plugin. They're not buying the capacity. They're just paying for the.
They're paying for the service, right? For as long as they're using it. And we have many of these plugins that allow us to enhance their ability of their properties. Think of it from the perspective of a city that comes in and hooks you up, to the electricity or to the water. And these are the kinds of things. I mean, obviously, we're not hooking up water or we're not hooking up electricity, but in essence, there are functions like that in Boon.